What's causing so many employees to quit their jobs? Clearly, there's something missing because people have been quitting their jobs a lot lately. In fact, so much that we've given it a clever name, the Great Resignation. Prompted by the pandemic and accelerated by the sudden awareness that WFH, work from home, was a real option, over 68 million employees quit their jobs in 2021 alone. And the trend continues at a pace of over 4 million people quitting per month. So I've been asking, why are so many employees participating in the Great Resignation? And more importantly, what can business owners and leaders do to reverse the trend? Turns out I found the cure several years ago, but didn't think of it as a big deal back then. Here's what happened. I was working for a privately held manufacturing business based in Iowa. I had joined the business as a VP of Human Resources, and we had recently been recognized as one of Fortune magazine's 100 best places to work, a major accomplishment for a manufacturing business. While I loved HR, my real desire was to lead an operating division where I could prove that I had what it takes to run a business. So I shared my goal with my boss, the CEO, and then realized you have to be careful what you ask for. Not long after our conversation, my boss came into my office with a key in his hand, and he said, "Rich, this one's yours." We had just acquired a small, struggling manufacturing firm based in Minnesota, and I was going to get my chance to lead a real business. I rushed home and said, "Honey, we're moving to Minnesota." I was so excited that I couldn't bring myself to tell her we were going to go live where her toothpaste would freeze overnight in the car and our children would ice fish while on school field trips. But she got my enthusiasm, and we packed up and moved up north. When the big day came for me to start my new position, I drove to the factory and pulled up in front. As I opened the car door, I could smell wood being cut and the distinct rhythmic sound of saws running. The shop was alive with activity, and I had an overwhelming feeling of, what have I gotten myself into? I had never run a business. Sure, I'd been around those who did, but it was never on me to make it work. Now, in that moment, I realized it was on my shoulders. I needed to step up and turn this business around. But before I even stepped foot in the door, I was scared to death. So I did what any respectable leader would do. I faked it. Seriously, I spent the next few weeks simply walking around, talking with employees, asking them what they were doing and why, finding out about their families, all the normal stuff. All the while, my mind was spinning. What was I going to do to make this business better? Then one morning it hit me. Where all great ideas seem to be formed, in the shower, I had this idea. I got dressed, called my assistant and said, "Call a meeting for everyone. I know what we're going to do." We cleared out a part of the warehouse, enough room to fit 200 people, and I put my bike on a table at the front of the room. When I got everyone's attention, I asked them, "What's this?" pointing to the bike. Most looked at me like I had lost my mind. Some said, "It's a bike, duh." Someone in the back shouted out, "Stolen property." I said, "This bike represents our business. And if we could tune up this business like tuning up this bike, we could make it go really fast and it would be fun to ride." I took them on a lap around the bike, and right away, I could tell that they had had a much clearer idea of just how our business worked. And more importantly, they could identify what needed to be fixed or tuned up. That's when I realized I had stumbled upon a hidden secret. Employees actually do care about the company they work for, but far too many leaders assume they're just there to work, not to think. I don't have time to take you on a lap around the bike today, but just know that every part of the bike represents a critical part of a business. Our focus today is on how to cure the Great Resignation. So I want to focus on the seat of the bike. It's probably safe to assume that most everyone watching this has ridden a bike. So you know firsthand how painful it is to ride a bike when the seat's not adjusted correctly, right? It turns out the same is true in business. The seat represents your people programs, And a poorly adjusted seat in business can be very painful. In fact, I'd suggest it's the reason why so many employees are choosing to quit rather than pedal. But a well-adjusted seat results in a very engaged, high-performing team of employees. While there are many adjustments we can make to the seat, I'd like to share with you two critical adjustments that we must make to begin to cure the Great Resignation. The first critical adjustment is to give our work teams more authority and autonomy. You've probably heard Simon Sinek suggest that what drives people's motivation is purpose, mastery, and autonomy. No one likes to be micromanaged. I'm sure you can relate to this. Rather than provide more supervision, we found the best work teams are self-managed, self-driven, and self-measured. By making this simple adjustment, we unleashed years of bottled up creativity and new ideas. There's no greater motivator than allowing employees working together to solve truly complex and challenging problems. The second adjustment is to design a rewards program that captures the imagination of your employees. Rather than explain this, let me share our story. We identified 5 critical goals we wanted to achieve in the business. We brought the team together and shared the goals with them. Then we told them that the first month we hit all 5 of our goals, we would put all their names into a hat and draw out a winner, and that winner would get my vehicle. Immediately, hands went up everywhere asking about my ride. What kind of car is it? How old is it? How many miles? Does it have air conditioning? 4-wheel drive? They wanted to know everything about it. I answered each question and then said, I'll keep driving it until we hit our goals. Then one of you will own it. After the meeting, everyone was out checking out my Jeep. I could tell they were imagining themselves driving it home. Every time I showed up at the factory, they would ask me about the Jeep, and I'd say, it's doing fine, and we're making good progress, but I'm still driving it. Then 5 months after giving them the challenge, we hit all 5 goals. We booked a large meeting venue, invited everyone and their families to attend a celebration party, and I took the Jeep in to have it polished and detailed. The night of the party, we drove the Jeep onto the dance floor. We had everyone's name in a large barrel, and we drew out 20 names. The 20 finalists came up on stage. I offered each of them $200 cash if they wanted to drop out. One guy took the cash, and we drew down to the final 10, then to the final 5. Then we drew the winning name, a 28-year employee who was a technician on our second shift. He was the lucky winner of my Jeep. We signed over the title to him, and he took the keys. Then I went back up on stage, and I said, I've got to ride home with my wife, and she's not very happy with me right now. But now I know that as a team, we can do anything that we put our minds to. In the end, the team got one over on their boss, but I got the trust, commitment, and maximum effort from everyone on our team. Look, I'm not here to tell you to give away your vehicle, but I am here to tell you that if you want to truly engage your employees, you first have to make some adjustments to the seat of your bike. Specifically, you need to start by making 2 critical adjustments. Give more authority and autonomy to your work teams, and build a rewards program that captures their imagination. These adjustments may be hard, but they're certainly worth it. If you're intentional about making these adjustments, the right people will not only stay with you, they'll bring others who want to experience the same thing. Clearly, this is an urgent issue. Over 68 million employees made the decision to find a new seat last year. Millions more will make a similar decision this year. No matter what your role in business is today, you can make an impact. If you're an employee, share this talk with your boss. If you're thinking of starting your own business, incorporate these adjustments into your seat from the start. And most importantly, if you're a business owner, the one holding the adjusting wrench, make these adjustments now so you can avoid having your employees quit in search of a more comfortable seat. Let me leave you with this quote from Angela Ahrens. Everyone talks about building a relationship with your customer. I think you build one with your employees first. I couldn't agree more. Let's adjust the seats of our bikes so we can cure the Great Resignation and keep this economy going strong.